I want to thank Bטחון, what are they called again? First of all, I want to thank my honored Gabbai. You know, whenever they say my Gabbai's name, my whole olam applauds Reb Yosef's Yafi, his dedication and devotion. I have a big thing over my Gabbai. I'll tell you why. Because then they say, imagine if that's what they do for the Gabbai. Stells the phone. It's always me. I'm joking. Anyway, so, and I want to thank the Torah Anytime, Kamash Kacha Pratis, Kol HaLoshen. Now, I had a great story that I forgot, Baruch Hashem. And because now I need the Eibishter as usual. Even what I remembered that I wanted to say is in garbage. Chavein Eibishter. What? You wanted it, so you're already totally in. That's why the less you have, the more Eibishter you have. The less, that's why this door, I once heard about in the Haim, they used to have a whole Thursday night they used to learn, and Friday they didn't sleep, learned through Friday, and the whole Friday night they learned. That's what I heard in a certain yeshiva somewhere. I'm only get kaiches. We're different. There's a reason why we're different. Because the Eibishter was, es geht also, erkenne ich das, ich werde nervös. Das ist, all Nervoskeit is min hashamayim. All anxiety, all panic modes, and schmanic modes, and OCD, no shmi, and all bipolar, shmola, polar. It's all matanis min hashamayim. Don't run after those matanis. But if you happen to have, or you think you have, one of those things, it's a bracha to make you. That's why we have to work so much at Gaiva, because Mahaltzach going, it's not so hard to hold your zero. If you're popping pills for this, to be able, anyway, also in a shamayim, also a teva, and the more people, I once showed Rabbi Yehuda Jacobs here in Lakewood. I showed him, you want to see, take a look at the Chavis Havavas, and take a look at the back of it, and you'll notice there it's black. Bטחון is black by all of them. And we laughed, and I says, if a guy's talking about Bטחון, must be something wrong. And he laughed. Today, it became more, common. The world talks about Bטחון. But Mullah gets saying, what are you getting involved in Bטחון? Is everything okay? Something's wrong. That Menabal Bטחון. How you doing? It's an honor to have Rabbi Berko from Williamsburg or Borough Park.
Who's the Rabbi?
Where's Muncie? What's it afkamina? Rabbi Berko, it's an honor to have you with us. Now, what was I saying? Now, what I just heard, first of all, I want to tell you a maisa that happened. One year, I didn't do well at the school. My regular salary was not working. Every month, less and less. My wife, she said, what? Even less than usual? Even less? I don't even know what she's talking about. Because when they give me a check, I never look at the check, Beshita. Here, Rebbetzin, go, do what you want. By the way, I just went to the store to buy nash for my class. Kids learn extra. I have to buy them a lot of nash, ice cream and everything. I put in the credit card, I took it, and I bought. I ended up buying 3 times as much as I wanted to. And I decided, kick this up in price. I used to look, I'm getting the cheaper chocolates. I can't afford, these name. Whatever it is, Liya Kesef, Liya Zov. A braid guide, I don't care. And I still didn't look at the it was long, I was like, long me the gulas. I don't know what caused. Am I on you? I'm on the red as me. Yeah, that's good. I'm on. Okay. So, I didn't look. First, gate me run, in fact, I threw it out. Sei gesund. throw out the evidence. Now we'll see what my wife's going to say. Now, what do I do about my wife? I daven and zitangit. Mit the molder. Oh, yeah, we're doing good with money. Now listen to the story. No money. And my wife, it's getting tight. It's getting really? And I had to marry off one of my kids. And I owed money to my other kid, whatever. It's giving Yehuda. So I married off my kid, and I verpackt the whole, who's supposed to give me the money. What do I care? I don't go to you for geld. About Taten Shemayim, he cuts it more or less. It's fine. I wasn't Geiris the problem. I wasn't Geiris the whole problem about the guilt is tight. Don't give me guilt. And I married off a kid. I ended up with so much extra money. I didn't owe a penny. I ended up paying back 4 different people that I owed b'shefa. I ended up with extra money. I remember giving an extra $2,000 to 2 of my kids. Each one got an extra $2,000. That's the story. And I gave myself credit because I had bטחון. Now, I just remembered the story that I wanted to tell you before, and then I forgot it. So it says Angit. Now, I had a half a bigger story. Oh yeah, here it goes. Somebody calls me up. Listen to this story, Rabbi Sai. The story is Kedai. I don't know where I put it. The story's not in the race. Somebody calls me up. You know, whenever people come to see me, no matter what it's going to be, and somebody calls me in the middle, the guy sitting there watches the way I'm answering the phone call, and he goes crazy. And he always says, you know, that phone call helped me more than whatever you're telling me. Every single time. The phone call is more geschmack. It shows you, even what you say, anyway, now, this guy called me up today. He doesn't know what to do. His brother, he lives in Yerushalayim, and he doesn't know what to do. He has to marry off a kid. And they're telling him, you missed Florence, America. You missed Florence, America. You have to go. What should he do? But he wants to try just straight the Eibishter. I said like this. I say, stay. Stay, don't go. Don't go to America. However, stay away from bad friends. What does that mean? Chas v'shalom, Ali Yidin and Git. All those Yidden that are telling you, you have to go. You know, $50,000. First of all, I don't want to hear no $50,000. I live by my day. How much do I need today? I married off 2 kids like this. How much do I need today? You need for this? Good. I got it. The next day, what do we need next? If you talk about tomorrow, you're losing your siyata d'shmaya. I'll tell you, when you say, you said that, you're asking for trouble. Don't say a word. What do we need today? And watch it come in. I did this with 2 of my children. I don't owe a penny from neither of them. All kinds of nisim happen. Anyway, but I had a Rebbe with me. Double lynches, that's all. So I says, keep away. I suggest you should do it. The only thing is, do not talk to the wrong people who talk like this. How you going to manage? What are you going to do? You know what this costs? Keep away. They'll kill you bטחון. I know you're talking to a big Rosh Yeshiva. Do not talk to that Rosh Yeshiva. But he knows Kula Kula. I know. But bטחון is a different, that's not his, obviously his sugya. He specializes in Chayshim Mishpat. Don't speak to him about your day. It's not his line. You stick to if you want to know Pshat and what he's good at. You want to know Pshat and Taisus, go back to him. You want to know about bטחון, keep away. He's poison. I don't care who you can finish Shas 10 times. Bטחון is not for him. Better go to an Alta Yidina without teeth. Get the Alta Yidina without teeth. A real old lady, 95 and a half. And she'll tell you there's an Eibishter in the world. She's much better than that Rosh Hashiva. But and all the Mivinim, all the Pikchim, all Pikchim. What do you Pikayachat? What do you know how to make money? Good. You want to make money? Go. But you want to marry off with Bטחון? Don't get near them. He's a big, he's a tzaddik, he's a medaktik b'mitzvahs, gewaldig. You want to be medaktik b'mitzvahs? Go to him. But you want to know about Bטחון? Forget it. He's the wrong address. He knows how to be, he knows all the chumras, he's medaktik, he'll make a bracha, and he'll make a this, and he's a maspid, he's a tzaddik, and about, you want a bal tzedakah? Maybe you want to get money from, I don't know. You want Bטחון? Keep away from all these people. I don't care who they are. Nadmar, this, I don't care. If he talks like this, Badaf, you have to go and make money. He's not the right address. They're all poison. Did you hear what I said? I don't care if they're G'daylim B'Toivim. I don't care if they know Kol HaTorah, they're Nizar B'Kala B'Chamura. If they're Goyim and Tzadikim and the world stands on them and they're everything you want to be and I want to be. In Bטחון, go back to the lady without teeth. She's way more chashiv. Now I'll show you a Gemara. Who the Asa the Kamid Rava? Is Rava big enough? Who the Asa the Kamid Rava? The Alta of Novanik points this out. They asked him, what are you living off? He says, no, what would you like to eat? Rava said, Tarnagoz b'vutemes v'hang yosh. Famous Novanik. So Rava says, you're not worried about, you're such a Kanaka, you have to have your fattened chicken, turkey, that's what you're eating. Zusammen mit, you want to have the best wine over there, the $1,000 bottles, and you want to get $1,000 wines? I'll help you out. There is such a thing. Oh boy. I need that's what I drink. Yeah, so he says, so Rava, the Gadol Hador, asks him, you're not worried about people's, you walk in, wherever you go, you have to have who do you think you are? He says, I'm not eating their food. Midrachmona kachelna. I'm not eating their food. This food. While they're talking, knock, knock. Who's there? Rava. Oh, my sister. I didn't see her for 13 years. What brings you here? I came to visit you. I didn't see you. Then guess what I got? Tarnagelos b'vutemes v'yayin yoshon. Oh, you have there? There's enough for everybody. Zok the Alta von Novanik, the Baal Bטחון. Not only takes care of himself, now Rava has a fattened chicken, old $1,000 bottle of wine, and now his sister and Rava and the man, he helps everybody. Now, what I want to bring out is, nobody even knows his name. Who the Asa. I wonder how chashav he was. Who the Asa, the common. If they don't say his name, no. If it says Maisa b'chasid, it's only a Yehuda, you know that. It's either Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, it's two Rabbi Yehudas, but it's only, if it's a chasid in Chazal, you know what it is. Maisa b'chasid echad. Manav shachat to Yehuda. It could either be one or two, either way. But so now we know. But who the Asa? That's he's chashiv. They call him a chassid. He must be chashiv. But who the Asa the Kamid Rava? What is he? The Rosh Hashiva Reb Nosson Vachflegel Zatzal said, Nagdimen Ben Gurion, with the whole Maisa where he made it rain. Right? The whole Maifas he made? He fed the whole Klal Yisrael, and he brought in water with some nisim. He stopped the sun went backwards. He kindness that he was lav dafka from the big, from, I don't know if you'd want to send your son to his yeshiva. I don't know if he was from He wasn't, I don't know who he was. Mashgiach was Ma'eda. That's not the point. You want b'tachon, you got to go to the right address. They'll show you how to have b'tachon. All right. Anyway, so that's very, very important. I was taught this chutzpah ba'ha'ozah in Novhardok. Who that, and I'm going to tell you, I do want to tell you something. How come Yosef HaTzadik, his father said, Yaakov Avinu said, okay, Leah v'lodeha, wait, Ashfachos, what's the lashon over there? Ashfachos v'yaldehem. They're standing before Esav. Next. Leah v'lodeha. Next. Rachel v'Yosef. Next. Adkan. What happened to Maisa? Leah v'lodeha. Everybody followed the rules. What Yaakov said he's planning on doing, except for one person didn't follow the rules. Yosef. Yosef, it says, Yosef and Rachel behind them. How did that happen? So Rashi, he didn't want Esav to look at his mother. Now look, I ain't panim l'Torah. I have my other ha'ara, why he did that. Do you know that the Slonim Rebbe said, I heard this from somebody, heard me pekotchay. Esav said, oh, who are the ladies and the kids and who the... So Yaakov said, Mi elalach, the whole business here, how'd you get this? Hayeladim. Don't ask me about nobody but the Yeladim. Hayeladim. That's all that counts. The kindalach. Don't give me, how is the family? How are the kids? Ein zach. Yeladim. He heard it, Mr. Sklav Zatzal was a Slonim Chassid. Tzaddik. He lived there in Lakewood, an Elter Yid. And he told it to me. And he heard it from the Heilige Slonim Rebbe. You know that Rebbe Chanan Wasserman held from him, I assume it was that Slonim Rebbe in Branovich? No? He was a Malach Elikim, he was young, no? There's a picture of him, it's not Shaykh. What? Yeah? Two Rebbes. They say Rebbe Chanan was crazy over him. Yeah. He was a malach, this Slonim Rebbe. Anyway, I heard him say, I remember Mr. Sklar was on fire. And Alta Slonim Chassid, why were they on fire? By uns is the Iked the Yeladim. So I want to go along with the Slonim Rebbe. Yosef heard his father say that. Well, he knew his father's hashkafas. So I'm standing in front of my mommy. The Yeladim, I'm one of those. The Yeladim, kindalach. Don't make away with kindalach. You know the kindalach? That's the future. You're not into the kids. Anyway, so I had another reason why Yosef was embarking in his career of gadlus ha'adam. It was starting now to go against what his father said. That's gavaldik. Guess why his father loved him the most? You know why? Because he had a mind of his own. Just like I went against Yitzchak, he was Tefillah and Amtaida, and Yitzchak went against Avram. I see you're also from Unzer Chevra. I said, you behind mommy, and you go, and I'm going in front. That's what I like. That's nachas. An emes the tata has nachas from a son like that. He has his, of course, with gedarim. And I want to say another zach. Those people, I am on a campaign to get kids away from parents. Keep away from your father and mother. I saved a person's life by telling him to divorce his parents. And Reb Reuven Feinstein, he went to him, who told him the same exact thing. Not my lashon. But he did it, and he, Baruch Hashem, he was divorced. He's remarried, he's happy till Shemaim, because he said, Tati and Mami, you're not for me. So Mendel does these things. Plenty. Get out of there. Your father, your mother, nice people, but not for you. It's not a shidduch. Now, I want to tell you something. I remember the first time I did it, this guy's wife was having migraine headaches. She was going through Gehenna. And he says, well, my wife is Nebuchadnezzar. Who's bothering her? Her mother visits her once a week. Her mother, special trip. She's a devoted, caring mother. And she comes in. No, she had ulcers. It happened 15 years ago. She had ulcers, this woman. Had ulcers. And she was bleeding ulcers. She's going through Gehenna. And I told him, and her mother visits her. Now listen to this. So I get the Yiddish mama. She comes in to make sure the house looks normal. And the mother looks through the whole house, and she's a quiet lady. You're not supposed to say. You know what Rabbi Miller said? You know how to deal with your children after they're married? Open your purse and close your mouth. That's a perfect matzav. Close your mouth and open. See, she's one of those, not a word. But she comes inside. What is she? She doesn't say a word. She just walks around the house and she looks here and the daughter's like this. She looks here and the daughter's like this. And she looks here like, I don't know, the daughter's a little bit nervous. Shenemo. It sounds like the Gestapo just arrived. And she's watching every move. And she knows her mother's mentality. And she knows her mother is, you know, yekish, punktlich, ordentlich. You gotta be, you know, you gotta do, yeah. You gotta do it right. You have to, you know, shine. And she has nervous breakdowns every time her mother walks in. And the less her mother talks, the more nervous she gets. Because everything she could imagine that her mother doesn't like about her house, which isn't on the high madrega, and being a Yekisha house, like a mother or Hungarian house, whatever it is, Miss Zion, don't you dare make you breathe, what did you do? You know what you did? Is anybody familiar? Okay. What? My house? Anyway, so I told him like this. You want your daughter to be a kibbut aim with ulcers, or nicht as a kibbut aim on ulcers? Take your pick. From now on, your daughter has to be mevatel her own mother. She has to look down at her. Mommy's never... I don't want to say what some people have to do. Like with doctors who tell them you're half dead. You have to say, as I toitem is sugar in my name. And say it to his face would be noch besser. Mr. toitem is sugar, and you should be malpractice. You know, they don't teach doctors common sense. You don't tell a guy you have 2 months to live. You don't do that. They don't have enough. In medical school, they can sit, pill Mashiach. I'm not talking as a frummer that doesn't like college. No. Let's call me one of the more broad-minded guys that is understanding. Yeah, well, college. I'm not getting involved in that. But do you have seichel or you don't? You know how many doctors? You know what happened in Israel? My favorite story. My Rebbe told it to me 100 times. In Israel, there was a strike for 2 weeks. Doctor strike. 30% decline in deaths throughout the country. They didn't want him back. Who wants you? The doctor hat gesagt. You know that back in Yekel, in the Haim, Rav Kanarek Zatzal told me. He told me that they used to have, I think in Austria, in Germany, they had doctors. You know, German is a language with long names. You ever hear these? A German names, yeah. What else is new? Oh, yeah. How do you read this? And Mamata Gansa Chasana, you know. The guys, how do you say these names? And you know Hitler's real name was Stickelgruber. No, is that true? Was that his name, Stickelgruber? Am I right? Yeah, so Hitler was short. Or else he never would have gotten to power. Who wants to deal with... Now, he had a super long name, whatever, say. But so what was I saying? Where am I up to? No?
Doctor strike.
That doctors anyway. So my Rebbe of Canarik said they used to take each doctor in Germany had a specialty in a different area that he spent a lifetime on this tip of the ear, or this part of the eye. They were details of the part of the body, and they had so many different doctors, and each one was not shaykh, and the Yidden used to worship them. You know that? They used to take these long trips if they had something wrong to meet that doctor, and they had to wait till the doctor came out, and he was Tertis Lakshmi Sinai. They had these doctors. Guess who? The doctors, Yamach Shemam. Who did the word? Dr. Mengele, Yamach Shema. He was a doctor. No, what they did in Auschwitz? The doctors. You know why? You worship doctors, that's what you get. Now, I happen to like doctors. Some of my best friends are doctors. Our best friends, I like them. What's wrong with doctors? Seriously, our best friends. You should know how many of them, when I meet them, I ask for a bracha and it's Yeshua. So don't invite me to your office. It's too complicated. Give a bracha. I promise you know how many times I had Yeshuas. I told you about, I once had I told him to give me a bracha. I looked terrible at my matzav, and he gave me whatchamacallit. What is it called? Antibiotics. The next day, he used to visit me. Those days I wouldn't get near a doctor. You can visit me. And he used to visit me. He said, Elach Yidin, these doctors. He comes the next day. It's all gone. No, I told him like this. Give me a bracha with the antibiotic of a bracha. Give me a bracha. Yes, here's a Baal Tshuva, this doctor. It's me mistake. Before Shalem, comes back the next day, the whole thing is gone. He just started on the antibiotics. He said, how'd that happen? He says, Doc, remember I didn't have an esrig? It was the day before Sukkot, and I came into the capital, and I wanted a lechatchil the esrig. The guy who runs the place says, you're crazy. Now you come. I says, I'm getting a lechatchil the esrig. You know who I am? Mandel the Bטחון. And I went straight over to that doctor. He says, Doc, I want a bracha. You should get a top esrig. 2 minutes later, I just found, I didn't realize I got a top esrig the day before. So I says, Doc, you remember who you are? I got a bracha, and it's done. So I like doctors. We get along. I don't want to tell you. What?
As long as they don't practice medicine.
Yeah. There's a time and place. When you're holding in a certain madrega, you may have to go. You have to know. Depends what you're up to. Anyway, let's get that now. What was I up to? Sometimes I could say a bittel on kibbut of aim, let's say, and that same, I'm telling you, if you're an halacha person, you have to be mevatel your parents for whatever reason, you're going to end up with the biggest kibbut of aim more than anyone else. You know why? Rav Moshe once said as asvara, because since you're doing l'shem shemayim, they will help you l'shem shemayim and everything. And you're going to get more kibbut av than anyone. You think that Yitzchak, that Yaakov didn't have more kibbut av than anybody in the world, just because he had a different derech? So what? He had more kibbut av. You know the what's his name? The Reb Chaim Tanza, his oldest son, was a shinaba. He was a troublemaker. You know that. You know about it? Was? Nicht zu tun, he was just like, yeah. Different. Everything different. The brothers didn't like, they weren't comfortable with him. He got up at the levaya of his father. Zu sein wie man Fute in Lernen, zu tun andere Ochet. So to be like his learning, there's others. To be like his Yerushalayim, plenty more. To be like him in Chesed, there's more. He went on and on and on. The brothers were ready to kill him because he was again. So then he said, but to have them all in one person, that only my father. You never heard that? My father told me the story. Guess who was the biggest nachas from Kelm? What came out of Kelm? Slobodka and Avadik, both. Slobodka, Rachloikis. When the elder in Slobodka was getting too much covet in Slobodka, He says, it's getting to my head. I'm going to Kelm. And the Kelmers used to kill him. He was running, he had the biggest yeshiva in Klal Yisrael. He was the biggest. Alton Slobodka was in Shayach. Rabbi and Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi, he was taking over. But he came to Kelm. And Kelm, you're not in the game. Kelm is, they're not the spoil. He's getting covered. Kelm. 1 year, he used to come from Yom Naraim. He said that's why he used to go. For Bezyanis. You think only Novandigers looked for Bezyanis? Alton Slobodka went for Bezyanis. He said it himself. He said, I can hang around Slobodka too long, they're going to kill me with all the cover they're giving me. He went special to Kelm. And the Kelm was 1 year, they didn't let him in. And he had to daven somewhere else. You know that? No. You're not from Unzer Chevra. You hear this? Anyway. So, I just want to say that the biggest nachas, there's no steer. You have to understand. When I say that he was smarter than the Gadol Ador, I'm telling you those people have more covered for Gedolei Yisrael than anyone else. Reb Gershon Lieberman, he used to tell me things about, these people were careful people. They had tremendous midas tavis beyond. They had machlokes with big people. They know in Bטחון, I know better. Don't tell me what to do, I know. They were like that. But at the same time, when Chaim Moshe was nifta in Vilna, they say Reb Gershon, whoever remembers, Reb Gershon was screaming because everybody heard him. He was going crazy because Reb Chaim Moshe isn't here. Where Baron Kotler came to Schneider's yeshiva in London, he stayed in bed overnight, and the next night Reb Gershon came. There's a picture of them together. That's the picture I have of them together, whatever. He said, he told the person they would put him in a Baron's bed, they said, please don't change the linen. I want to sleep on the same sheet that Reb Baron slept. Yeah, but you have no idea how much respect they had in the Vardik but they were tough too, you know. They were tough. It's no steer. You have to know how to fight. You know, the big people understand how to. Okay, anyway. Now I'm going to tell you, I just heard this. This is Kedaida. I'm going to say this, Shai. First of all, I want to get this out as soon as possible. The other has to hear this story. You know, somebody who comes to this Vad came over to me, Rabbi Mendel, I can't sleep. I says, you don't need sleep. Came back a week later, same guy, same place. I'm sleeping beautiful. As soon as he decided he doesn't need sleep, now he sleeps. Why doesn't he sleep? I have to sleep, and I'm not sleeping. That's why you're not sleeping. Everything's like this. I tell so many people, you're depressed? Baruch Hashem. I love being depressed. You know how many people are cured? Okay, anyway. Now, let me get, here's a story. I just got this phone call. It's half of a fella. This person didn't have any children for 4 years. See the Shingaman. He has a few kids. He didn't have any children for 4 years. Atamig Miledas. Nothing's happening. So what did he do? He called Mandel. And me and my wife are davening, and the davening is going, it's 4 years, and we have a few kids, now it's over, stop davening. From now on, no davening at all. You're taking a break, not a mashu. Thank for what you do have. So the same Yularatzai by Shemoneh, he said, Abish, thank you for Yankala, for the kids that he does have. Baruch Hashem, Namal, Geshmaka kids. He just thanked. 2 weeks later, she was pregnant. Did you hear that? You hear the story? By the way, the best part of the story is, he told me, ich gesagt meine Frau, als geht zu Mendel. Und was Mendel sagt, geht hin. I hold that's the emissary. And he said, That's the real shot. Why he was so. I had another one. I forgot it. Just happened this week where a guy said, "Mendel, I'm going like you," and he had Nisim. So you know that you don't need. I told you the MRI guy. I told you I have the MRI. The guy, this lady was crying. The doctor gesagt, I have to have an MRI for my 12-year-old son. It's a horrible thing on his. I said, no MRI. She called me back a week later. Rabbi Mendel, I did not listen to you. And I went for an MRI, and suddenly the doctor said it's not necessary. So that story is one of my favorites, because there she Lahedja went against me. She said, I didn't listen to you. And I said, Zesta, you don't have to have Amunas Chachamim. I have enough Amuna in me. I'll be mighty you with the whole Amunas Chachamim. Good enough. So I don't need the whole Amunas Chachamim. It's going to work without it. But Grad, Punk this week, I have two stories where they said, I'm going but Mendel, so I know another guy, his baby didn't sleep. His baby used to keep him up all night until he said, he told me, he called me up. I told my baby, Mendel had gesucht, if Mendel would be here, listen to this one, he would give a bracha that the baby should sleep. And the baby fell asleep right away. So Mendel didn't even say anything. He just said, if Mendel would be here, I promise you, Mendel, his wife was on the floor. He said, another guy, yeah, baby's waking up, give that bracha, you'll have no more trouble. You know, he told me, from the time of your bracha on, there are no feedings throughout the night for 12 hours. It's a total break. Give my bracha. They work, you know how big I am? You don't know. He doesn't know how big I am. But anyway, I want to tell you something. I just heard this. I was on the phone with somebody who heard this from Mayor Stern. I don't want to jeopardize them, but Mayor Stern told somebody to leave Lakewood, to get a Stella out of Lakewood. He said, Reb Aaron Kotler, Mayor Stern, yeah, it is? Reb Aaron Kotler, you know what that is? He's not Pashut. He's from Brisk, by the way. You know that? Okay. You know what he said? Reb Aaron Kotler said, I just quoted it. I was just on the phone with this younger man. Reb Aaron Kotler wanted everybody out, and he gave a bracha, you go out, your kids will be fine. The schus of going out. I heard that 100 times already. And then he said, Mayor Stern said, he saw many, 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 many people go out, and the kids are beautiful. And many, many, many people stayed in, and the kids are terrible. It doesn't mean staying in makes, it says not malamated. That's what he says. So that's a good story for me. I need that. Now, I just met somebody, I hadn't seen him in a long time. He said, Mandela, I was just listening to you, to 104.9. Guess what you said? What did I say? I was in shock. He said, you were telling a story about somebody who has 150 guests by him for Shabbos. And what a Kiddush Hashem. I pushed that a lot. I mean, this fall for Pesach, 150 guests, and the ladies do it, and they're happy. Instead of being on the phone, what are we going to do? How are we going to bake this and do that? There's nothing wrong with that. Keep it up, ladies. It's Kiddush Kedushim. A Yisha lady talks about that. I'm serious. It is Kiddush. But thought, how many guests are you having? I have 150. I promise, a true story. That's maybe a little bit more dahiben, you know. But it's fine. Don't worry so much. But anyway, so this guy told me, yeah, he's quoted me that I said that, don't worry, everybody. You heard a story about 150 people. You know what you'd say? You have 150 people? I have Tater. So leave me alone. I asked him, I really said that? I'm trying to do something else. He said, I just heard it from you. They're all turning me on. I says, well, it must be Shchinim Daberes. You don't tell people things that aren't holding by, you know, that's a big thing. Anyway, I was holding by Yosef HaTzadik that he went against, and also he was the one that was going to say, everyone's bowing down to me, including Tati and Mami. You hear that? The first time he said, you're all bowing down to me, and they were upset. Oh, you're upset? Watch for this. My next dream is going to be even more exciting. The next dream is everyone's bowing down, including Tati and Mami. If you didn't think I was mechutzev till now, watch what I can do. He's a psukim. What's going on? How do you? No, it doesn't bother anybody. Like, how do you? Yeah, it's a nevuah. I don't know what's going on here. And then, what did he say? Nenu godel babayis zemi meni. He tells Eish Paitifa, do you know who I am? You're not for me. I'm too big for this shtusim. A mensch was a geus. He started, look, he was cutting shebeshvatim. Chazal say. Someone who's cutting, we don't understand them. It's a sin to say a pshat in Yosef, even though I'm going to say one. I say it's a sin, but I'm still going to say one because I have to walk away with something. I don't care what. You're not allowed to understand. We talk, I don't understand, but I have to walk away, and I'm walking away with this. That he's a cotton shebeshvatim has to be like this. Or else, the greatness of Yosef, 80 years of Melech, that nobody in Kol HaTorah, in all Mikra, no one was the king 80 years except for him. And he saved the whole world. Why? Because he learned in Slabodke. He learned the vision, Slabodke. He was a dat mahalach. You see the psukim. You know that he lost 10 years of his life because they said Abdul Chavinu. He was talking because whatever that means. But that's obvious that Yosef was not, you see the way he dealt with his brothers? No. You know, he was Raimamus. He didn't do none of that. So there's a makam, there's a smach for those. Okay. Now, how much time do I have left? 8:43? Let me say another word. You don't want to tell you the Alta's Yotzai's coming up. At least periodically, I do this once in a while. Is this guy Nathan? They met Reb Gershon once walking around. He was super happy. What are you looking for, Reb Gershon? I'm looking for breaking midas. I'm looking for opportunities. Somebody just told me I saved their life with that. This guy just told me. I saved it was from you. So he went over to somebody who ba'aveled him for 3 years. He ba'aveled him. You want to tell the story? He ba'aveled him for years. Ba'aveled with guilt. Shreklach. With rishas. With mamish. What?
Leans.
What's that?
He put on him leans.
Leans. Right? And when he went over to him, beste Freund, I told him, you brought the Gula Shlema. You could do a thing like that. Breaking midas, to get more of that stuff. But my nusach is, in a vardik, they would jump. That's an opportunity. I've seen them like that. You have such a shviga, you should dance. You mean she yells at you all day? No, you don't him. What's with veil for this if you don't have a wife that yells at you all day? Na bacharang gefallen in the vardik, motza moitza. What did you? She's nice. Oh no. What's going to become of you? She's nice and she's sweet and she likes you. That's Gonishvet. You're not one of the boys. By the way, in Kotsk, they had the same nusach. Anyway, where are we up to? Okay, next.